The perfect human, Adam Warlock, is a hybrid healer damage dealer in Marvel Rivals. Adam is probably one of the most misunderstood strategists that a lot of players don't understand how to play as or play with, and this leads them to having a pretty bad rap despite being a really powerful character. He needs to be paired with main healer strategists like Cloak and Dagger, Luna Snow, or Invisible Woman, and isn't as good when paired with some of the off healers like Rocket or Mantis. It's his job to be constantly doing surprise burst damage to the enemy team and huge burst healing to allies. But it's not his job to just stay there continuously healing targets, and if you're trying to use him as that style of character, you're gonna fail tremendously. His basic ability, Quantum Magic, is a quick single shot projectile. This is a hit scan ability that deals a moderate chunk of damage, taking about 5 body shots to kill most duelists and strategists, or 3 headshots. When playing Adam Warlock, you need to get really good at the headshot game, and getting as many headshots as you can off on far distance targets is going to be really valuable. But he's an amazing strategist to pick up if you're good at characters like Hela, but you need to supply the strategist role for your team. All throughout the game, you're going to be constantly whipping these out of the enemy team and trying to deal as much damage as you can. His secondary fire is Cosmic Cluster. After a short delay, he'll fire off a quick little attack. But this ability can be charged up to 5 times. At the 5th charge, he'll unleash all 5 attacks together as a burst of damage. This does consume 5 of your ammunition, but deals a decent chunk of damage that cannot headshot, so can be aimed at any part of the body to deal the same amount of damage. In play, you're constantly winding this thing up and looking for opportunities to fire it off. Don't just fire it off willy-nilly, you want to plan this out and look for targets that you're actually going to deal a good chunk of damage to. You want to weave this past the enemy vanguards and into the enemy backline. Adam's healing comes from his E ability, Avatar Lifestream. When activated, he'll heal his target and all targets nearby them, and he'll also heal himself. If he doesn't currently have his cursor on a target, he'll first heal himself and then bounce that healing out to additional targets. This is quite a large chunk of healing and should only be used if a target is below 50% HP. It has 2 charges and a pretty long cooldown, so you can't just spam this ability keeping your team constantly alive. You need to use it at critical moments to save a target from dying. You're only really using this to save targets that are low HP, you're not using it for sustained healing. And you're using this when a target actually gets focused on. His left shift ability, Soul Bond, is what makes Adam Warlock actually a strong strategist. When activated, he chains all allied targets within line of sight together, splitting all damage taken amongst all targets. The more targets you can link together, the better, because splitting the damage across your entire team and then healing them up with your chain healing is going to be very powerful. You can use this ability when powerful single-shot ultimates have begun activating. It can be a powerful way to protect allies from things like Punisher or Psylocke. Spreading the damage out across your entire team makes it so they can't really focus down targets, and you're going to be able to keep them alive a lot longer. This also applies healing over time to all targets linked together, which just helps deal with that chip damage. His passive ability is Regenerative Cocoon. While his passive is available, if Adam Warlock dies, he becomes a ghostly yellow version of himself and can fly around the battlefield. You can then activate to channel for a short period of time and come back to life. Or you can cancel and go back to the spawn room without wasting your passive. Being able to return to the fray when a surprise enemy hit takes you out is really powerful. It can often be a lot of work for enemies to be able to kill a target, and just being able to come back invalidates all the work that they put into it. His ultimate ability, Karmic Revival, will revive all KO targets within a certain range of him after a short channel, and it'll continue to revive targets within its reach once each for a short period. Targets get revived with a pretty small amount of HP, so you're going to need a quick burst of healing to be able to get them back and operational. We know a powerful enemy ultimate has been activating Karmic Revival to make sure any allies that die can be brought back, or after a couple of your members have gotten wiped during a team fight, bringing all those members back will almost always flip the scales of battle. Try and make sure to use Revival at off angles where enemies aren't going to be able to immediately notice where you're at and focus your targets down. If your entire enemy team used their ultimates to get that team win, often your team is now going to be available to go in and use theirs. If you get taken out in a fight and go into your ghostly form, you can fly up to an off-angle position, like on top of a chandelier or around a corner, and then revive and activate your ultimate, bringing your entire team back right away. He's an activator for a team-up ability with Mantis and Star-Lord, giving both of them his passive ability, meaning when they die, they become that ghostly version and can fly about and revive themselves. This is considered one of the strongest team-up abilities. Anytime you can bring a target back from the dead, it's really potent. It's just unfortunate that it goes along with Mantis, a healer that he doesn't synergize particularly well with. But the Star-Lord team-up is really strong. Adam Warlock also has an animation cancel combo. Go into your settings and bind primary attack and secondary attack to up mouse wheel and down mouse wheel. Upon doing this, you can do a quick rotation of up, down, to to be able to unleash very fast attacks against your target. This can be triggered normally with just primary, secondary, but can be a little bit clunky to pull off. Head in the practice range and get used to using this combo. You want to be able to time it to make sure you don't accidentally animation cancel the primaries, as they're the largest chunk of the damage, and the quick secondaries are just a nice little bonus. When you're playing as Adam Warlock, you have to be heavily focused on damage as well as the HP of your team, knowing when a target has become the focus of enemy attacks and when is the right time to get off your heal on them, while also needing to make sure you're constantly dealing damage to enemy backliners, making them not feel safe and not feel like they can stay in line of sight. Your quick hit scan primary means that you can be constantly popping in and out of line of sight, getting shots off, and ducking behind targets before enemies are able to get their retaliatory blow off on you. Charge up your secondary, pop into sight, unleash the secondary followed by a primary, and tuck behind cover. When it looks like a major team fight is about to break out, or a target is about to get majorly focused onto, link your allies together with that shift ability. As the target starts to get low, use your life stream to quickly heal that target as well as all your allies, healing off that chip damage that you just split between your team. Rail into primary targets with your attacks, and be ready to activate your burst of healing again as allies start to get low. If things are starting to look dire, activate your ultimate to quickly revive any targets that are going to be taken out. You have low mobility and no real defensive options, but you do have a decent burst of self-healing, so if targets get onto you, you can use your life stream to keep yourself pretty healthy and do a decent chunk of damage just autoing at them as they're trying to take you out. You need to complement your other healers' abilities, using your abilities to fill in the gaps, while complementing your DPS players' abilities, trying to help there be softened targets for them to take out. Once you master all those skills, you're going to be a lot better at playing Adam Warlock. In the next video, we're going to talk about Adam Warlock's good friend, Star-Lord. Star-Lord is a flanking, semi-flying damage dealer who has amazing rate of fire and is really hard to take out. We'll talk about that next time.
Sazaze.